Hello everyone. This is the 16th part of the story, I'm Voldemort. Chapter 123, Conditions. You know what? Screw it. I'll become your avatar, but I have a condition. If you can't accept it, then I will never become your avatar. Tom says resolutely, causing Manasa to lean forward in interest. All right, what is it? She asks, hoping it's nothing too crazy. I'm willing to run some errands for you in the mortal plane, but there are some things I refuse to do. Anything that would go against my morals is out. If you need a baby killed or some other horrible thing, then find someone else to do it because I won't. As Tom mentions her wanting babies killed, a look of distaste appears on her face. Tom felt relieved with her reaction, as it tells him that she has her morals as well. If he has to take unspecified jobs from her, then he at least wants to know that she won't give him something horrible down the line. This includes things that would ruin my plans or uproot my life. If you need me to give you something that I have been planning to take for myself, then the answer will be no. If you need me to travel to some dimension and spend a few years doing something, then the answer will be no. Although, you're welcome to ask, as I may find the place interesting. Who knows, these are just examples. Do you understand? Tom finished and looked to Manasa for her reaction. Manasa stood there frozen in contemplation for a good minute. She didn't utter a single word as the mood became tense between the two. After waiting a very long and strained minute, she looks very seriously into Tom's eyes. Do you know how many beings would kill their own families to become my avatar? She asks seriously. I'm not them, Tom says as he stares back unwaveringly. Yes, that's right. You aren't, are you? She shakes her head as a small smile graces her lips. Fine, I accept your conditions. All right, so what do we do now? Tom asks. We don't do anything, Manasa says as she pointed her white finger at Tom. You need to gather some things for a ritual. What? You can't just make me the avatar now? Tom says in annoyance. I finally finished dealing with everything, and now I need to go hunting for ritual ingredients. Great, just great. No, I can't. The totem around your neck can only withstand so much of my divinity. If I were to do it now, the totem would break before you could even taste a drop of my power. She explains. Psycha, fine, what are the ingredients, and how do I set up the ritual? Tom asks with a resigned look on his face. Our time has run out yet again. I'll imprint the ingredients list and the ritual into your mind. Manasa says as she slithers closer and taps Tom on the head. Was that supposed to do something? Tom says as he didn't receive anything. You'll see when you wake up. It was nice seeing you again, Tom. Oh yeah, I've been watching the recent romance happening in your life. I must say that it's been very stimulating. She blushes as her bottom snake half quivers. Ew, I didn't need to know that, Tom says as he fades out of the dream and wakes up. Yawn, why did she have to tell me that? He looks down at his totem in annoyance. She must be watching my life like a soap opera through the totem. With a sigh, Tom sits up and searches his mind for what Manasa left for him. The room around him is pitch black and outside it's nighttime. Due to his recent dealings in England, Tom has been operating on that time schedule. He goes to sleep during the day and wakes up at night. Navigating his mind, Tom finds the ingredients along with a complicated-looking ritual. The ritual ingredients include blood, venom, scales, and bones of every species of snake on the planet, including the basilisk. Luckily, Tom saved everything from the basilisk down to its feces and urine. He had the elves store it all away just in case. The ritual also called for other things that would be harder to obtain, like phoenix tears, feathers, and ash. He was unsure what a phoenix had to do with snakes though. Maybe to symbolize his rebirth as the snake god's avatar? Who knows? As he looked further into the long list, Tom could only sigh. Gathering everything needed would take some time and manpower. It's a good thing I have my trusty little elves, Tom thought as he started writing the ingredients down. Mimsy. Pop. Master called? She answers his call happily. Yes, I need these ingredients gathered, Tom says as he hands her a very long list. This gonna take a while, Master, Mimsy says as her eyes widen at the magnitude of the list. That's all right. Take your time with it. You should probably break the list into smaller lists and give them to different elves. That way it will get done faster. As Tom says this, Mimsy nods her head excitedly. That'll work, she says happily and pops away to get her work done. As Tom is left alone in his room, he studies the ritual closely. After an hour of trying to comprehend it, he comes to an annoying conclusion. I'll need help with this. It's far more advanced than anything in Hogwarts or Camartage, he thought as he checked the time. Teacher isn't awake yet, so I'll have to wait. Hopefully, she doesn't ask for more secrets. Who am I kidding? She'll definitely ask for more. It's a good thing I haven't told her about my Pendragon lineage yet. Taking out a mystery novel he borrowed from the Ancient One, Tom decides to read and relax until she wakes up. While reading, a thought appears in his mind. I have all 3 Hallows, don't I? He thought as he looks at his Elder Wand. Should I bring them all together before the analysis has finished or after? Chapter 124, Summer's End. After reading until his teacher woke up, Tom went to the Ancient One's quarters. As he entered without knocking, Tom found her sitting in her courtyard drinking coffee. Good morning, Tom calls out as he sits beside her. Morning, she answers back grumpily as she sips from her mug. The Ancient One isn't much of a morning person. She needs to finish her coffee before anyone could bother her. Of course, Tom is one of the only exceptions. So, I had another meeting with the snake god Manasa, Tom reveals. Dreams again? She asks half-heartedly. Yup, and we came to an agreement. The Ancient One raises an eyebrow at Tom's words. So you're going to become her avatar? She asks. Yeah. I tried to go for champion instead, as it's pretty much free power, but she wouldn't accept. Tom admits. Well, from my experience I know that avatars are much stronger than champions. You might even end up becoming stronger than me, she says as she gulps down more caffeine. Maybe, but I need your help, Tom says as a wicked smile graces the Ancient One's tired face. I'd be happy to help. Tom cuts her off. For a price. Yeah, I know, he says, annoyance clear in his voice. Hee, you catch on quickly. She chuckles at him. What do you need help with? I need to do a ritual to become her avatar. I don't have all of the ingredients yet, but I have elves working on it. What I need from you is help setting up and executing the ritual. It's far more advanced than anything I've seen here or in Hogwarts, Tom explains. Sure, that shouldn't be too hard. She nods as she finishes her coffee. Now, spill your secrets. Sigh, I'm heir to the royal house of Pendragon, Tom reveals, and she doesn't look all that surprised. I had my suspicions about that. Lu Fei was Arthur's half-sister after all, she says with a thoughtful expression. Well, now that the cat's out of the bag, I expect to be addressed as Your Majesty from now on, Tom says with false haughtiness. Yeah, right. The Ancient One scoffs at his behavior. I guess some commoners will never know their place, Tom says as he turns his nose up at her in a perfect pureblood manner. All right, enough. It's too early to play around. She grumbles as she waves her hand and her mug fills with coffee once again. I'm going to need 2 more cups to deal with you. You're no fun. Tom stops messing around. Do you want to look at the ritual now? Preferably, yes. She nods. All right. 1 second. Tom says as he enters his inner world. Grabbing his computer with all of his memories, Tom navigates to the file with the ritual information. Willing a printer into the world, Tom connects it to the computer and prints up everything. After a few minutes of waiting, Tom opens his eyes and looks at the Ancient One, who has already finished her second cup. Look at my eyes. I'm going to hand off the info through legilimency. Tom says, and she does as he says. As their eyes meet, Tom makes a connection through their minds and hands off the papers. After getting the ritual papers, the Ancient One closed her eyes and studied the ritual closely. Time passed and half an hour has gone by. Tom has been waiting patiently for her to finish. If she's taking this much time with it, then the ritual must be more complicated than I thought. Tom muttered as he started to get hungry. Leaving her there, Tom left to see Druella. They went out to get some food. Tom brought her to get some Muggle food in America. They had pizza in New York City. Like that, the summer came to an end. The Ancient One figured out the ritual without too much of a problem. The only thing they need to wait for now is the ingredients to be gathered. The elves have been hard at work gathering all that they could, but some things on the list are hard to find. Although they haven't finished, more than half the list had been gathered already. Tom has continued his studies and training as usual. Muggle science in his secret lair has been going smoothly. He's still taking apart and fixing the stuff from Stark though. On the magic side of things, Tom has been focusing on wandless magic. He's become fairly good at it, as he can do all first and second year Hogwarts spells without a wand. Steve and Peggy have been moved into a nice home in London under Peggy's name. Peggy is still helping the war effort as she can't just quit. At least not yet. Speaking of the war, it's coming to a close. America has already dropped nukes on Japan. Although, that didn't spark them into surrender. If I remember my history classes correctly, then Japan will surrender once the USSR declares war on them. Tom thought at the time. As Steve didn't have an identity or citizenship, Tom took care of it with some good old-fashioned mind control and obliviation. Stephen G. Rogers is now Stephen A. Rockwell. They decided to keep his first name the same, so as to not cause confusion. With the spell blocking anyone from seeing who he is, having the same first name doesn't really matter. Stephen Rockwell is a dual citizen of Britain and the United States of America. He has all the needed legal paperwork as well. Steve and Peggy have been enjoying the honeymoon stage of their relationship. Tom has been leaving them alone for the time being. Speaking of relationships, Tom and Druella are good. They have barely been apart from one another all summer. She's learned many of his secrets. Everything that the Ancient One knows, Druella has learned over the summer. As for the Deathly Hallows, Tom decided to bring them together after he becomes Manasa's avatar. If he does end up meeting death, then he wants to be as strong as possible. He was going to wait for the analysis on all the Hallows to finish, but who knows how long that would take. Tom doesn't have the patience to wait a couple more years. A few days before returning to school, Tom called a meeting for his followers. Everyone was to arrive at Rosier Manor. It's time to start putting the followers to work. Chapter 125 Meeting. A few nights before Tom's 6th year of Hogwarts, he called a meeting at Rosier Manor. He and Druella were waiting in her room as the guests were pouring in. Tom is in her bed thinking about how crazy school will be. Ever since he defeated Grindelwald, he hasn't shown his face in the magical world. He'll most likely be bombarded with questions from the students and faculty. Let's not forget the ministry and Aurors. They'll definitely want to meet with him. Druella was dressed nicely and doing her makeup in the mirror. She has been helping Tom plan for tonight. The followers are finally going to start getting orders other than training. Okay, I'm done. How do I look? Druella says, drawing Tom's attention. Huh? What did you say? Tom asks as he was too preoccupied with his thoughts to hear her. I said I'm finished. How do I look? She repeats and Tom looks her over. Stunning. Tom says truthfully as he gets out of bed. Good. Should we get down there? Everyone should be here by now. If they aren't, then they better have a good excuse for being late. She says menacingly. Yeah, let's head down. Tom says as Druella takes his arm. Downstairs in the ballroom, every follower of Tom's has arrived. They were all talking amongst one another while waiting for their lord's arrival. 2 people in the crowd didn't really fit in with the rest. These are Newt and Nagini. Most of the people here are from pure-blood Slytherin families and act with a certain etiquette. It's hard to find common ground with these sorts of people. Soon, the balcony doors opened, and out came Tom and Druella. Both were dressed a bit more casually compared to last time. If I could have your attention, please. Tom calls out as all eyes are drawn to him and the room goes silent. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all again. Today is a meeting where I will explain a few of my plans and ideals, while also giving you all some orders. Tom explains and everyone gives him their undivided attention. This is the moment they've been waiting for and some have dreaded. They finally find out what Tom wants them to do and what he stands for or against. Now, I'm sure many of you have either overheard or heard rumors about my plans to take over the wizarding world. This is, in fact, true. I want to help fix this world and make it strong enough for when the Muggles inevitably discover us. Because they will discover us. Tom reveals and everyone has looks of horror on their faces. It may not happen today or even in 10 years, but at the accelerated rate Muggle technology is progressing, they will no doubt learn of our existence within the next 100 years. Probably sooner than that actually. What? How? That can't be true. The crowd went into an uproar as his followers started to panic. Quiet. Tom shouts with magically enhanced lungs and the room goes deathly silent. As I've said, they will discover us. Believe it or not, it makes no difference. You will do as I say either way. Now, I plan to gain control through elections. Some of you here today will hold important positions and enact my will for me. I don't plan to ever run for any office, nor do I want to change the government and become king, emperor, or some other nonsense. I will stay in the shadows and pull the strings while you Tom points down at them. My lovely little followers bask in the light. Not all of you will hold important positions, but positions like Minister of Magic is an elected job, so theoretically everyone could have a turn. Tom says with a smile as his followers' eyes shine with ambition. Now, elections aren't held for another 2 years, so until then we need to start fixing all of your reputations among the populace, especially Muggleborns and half-bloods. Tom says and some lord of a random family speaks up. Why should they matter? He questions with disgust in his voice. Because they make up the large majority of voters. If you don't hold their votes, none of you will ever hold any elected office. Tom says and a look of realization appeared on Lord Black's face. So that's why I've been losing every election. I'm such an idiot. He thought as he wanted to slam his head against the nearest wall. Let me say this now, so you all understand fully. Racism will not be tolerated amongst my followers. Especially your idiotic brand of blood racism. Magic is magic whether you were born to magical parents or not. If you hold magic blood in your veins, you are a member of our society. No one is a second-class citizen. If you have a problem with this, then remedy it as swiftly as possible. Because if I find any of you acting in your old ways, you will not like the consequences. Tom says menacingly as he flares his very large pool of magic. Every follower below the balcony could feel the magic overflow from Tom's body. There was so much of it filling the room that it became hard for them to breathe. Tom, they're going to pass out. Druilla informs as she tries her best to endure his magic. Suddenly, the magic filling the room dissipates as the crowd gasps for air. I believe you all understand and we can move on now, correct? Tom asks and everyone nods gravely. Good. As to how we will fix your reputations, that will take some time and hard work. First, anyone who is a sitting member of the Wisengamot, step forward. Soon, a little less than 60 people step forward. They all are either a lord of their respective house that have inherited seats or elected officials that hold temporary seats. Every one of you will start working together to pass, amend, and repeal different laws. When is the next session scheduled? Tom asks. In a week, my lord. Lord Black answers swiftly. Good, do you know what's on the docket? Tom asks again. If I recall correctly, it's a vote on a new law, banning creatures like vampires and werewolves from living in residential areas. He answers smoothly. All right, you all will vote against this law. Tom announces and the room goes into an uproar once again. We can't allow those monsters to live near our children. My lord, this isn't right. We must keep those creatures at bay. Many voiced their opposition. Quiet. Tom yells again. I wasn't finished speaking. The next person that interrupts me will receive a crucio to the genitals, am I understood? Chapter 126, Meeting 2 Electric Boogaloo. As soon as every follower in the ballroom heard Tom speak of using the most painful torture curse on their genitals, every man and woman in the room shut their mouths instantly. Now, as I was saying, you will vote against that law, but you will also voice your opinions to find another solution. Are vampires, werewolves, and others like them dangerous towards us? Yes, but measures can be put in place to make them a part of our society. Let me ask you a question. What makes vampires so dangerous towards us? Tom asks and looks down at his followers. Many raised their hand instead of calling out, as they didn't want to have their genitals tortured. Lord Malfoy. Tom points to the platinum-haired man. They are predators that feed on our blood. He answers swiftly. Exactly, but they don't have a choice really. Human blood is all they can eat, so can anyone tell me what is the simplest way to stop them from drinking from us? Tom asks again. Once again the hands go up and Tom calls on Lord Not. Extermination? He answers, unsure of himself. That is a way to stop them, but it certainly isn't the simplest. Tom shakes his head at Lord Not's words. The simplest way is to stock our markets with human blood. We could start blood donation clinics in the Muggle world and package it as we would normal food. The vampires could simply buy their food as everyone else. If they could easily purchase blood, why would they need to hunt anymore? Many around the room were shocked at such an easy solution, but some weren't fully convinced. Hands went up again as Tom started calling on people. My lord, what if they still wish to hunt? A follower asks. Then we make a law against vampires drinking from people that haven't given consent. We also make a law against killing while feeding on consenting individuals. Also, not following these laws will be punishable by death. If they can't see the gift we're giving them, then they are not welcome in our society. Tom explains and everyone seems okay with it. Many were thinking that it was a good idea, while others were simply on board because of the death penalty. They didn't think vampires could integrate into society as Tom said, so they were banking on killing the vampires that go against the law, which in their minds would be every single one of them. Yes, Lord Black? Tom called on him as he had his hand raised. What about werewolves? Vampires may be able to integrate with marketed blood, but werewolves become literal monsters once a month. I'm not talking about what happens to our wives once a month. I mean big, hairy, claws, and fangs rip you apart type of monster. Lord Black describes. He still sounds like my wife. Someone muttered in the crowd, causing the men to hold back their laughter. All the ladies in the crowd were looking at the men as if they were trash on the side of the road. Many wives would be telling off their husbands tonight. Well, that is a bit harder, which is why I have a job for Lord Prince. Tom says, and Lord Prince steps to the front of the crowd. What can I do for you, my lord? He asks respectfully. Your family is the best when it comes to potions, correct? Tom asks, and many in the crowd reluctantly nod. Yes, that's true. He admits unabashedly. Good, you are to start working on a potion that could weaken werewolves during the full moon. Tom orders. That will take time, my lord. Why do you want something like that? Will we be exterminating them? Lord Prince questions. No, we won't be exterminating them. It's quite simple actually. If they drink the potion before turning, they will weaken and hopefully gain control or simply sleep the whole night. It's probably better to make it powerful enough to knock them out. That way they don't have to feel any pain from the change. Tom explains. Will they be willing to take the potion though? He asks. Once again, we will make it a law that werewolves must take their medicine every full moon. Any wolf caught not taking it will be put to death according to the law. We could even put a small price on the potion to fill our pockets as well. We aren't a charity after all. Although, the price would have to be affordable. Tom says, greedily smirking. His greedy smirk was matched by everyone in the crowd as they agreed wholeheartedly. Once again, the death penalty would be given to anyone that didn't follow these laws, so they agreed as they thought of werewolves as nothing but beasts. Would they agree to take medicine every full moon? Tom's followers didn't think so. As for ingredients, I heard that hunters use wolfsbane to weaken werewolves. That seems like a viable main ingredient. Tom gives Lord Prince a hint. I was thinking of that as well, my lord. Lord Prince nods with his hand grasping his chin. Good, if you do get a working potion made, we'll need a supplier for the ingredients and a place to mass-produce potions. Tom voices. My family can already mass-produce any potions, my lord. As for the ingredients supplier, might I suggest Lord Greengrass? His family has been Wizarding Britain's largest supplier when it comes to farming. Lord Prince explains. Sure. Tom agrees and Lord Greengrass exits the crowd and stands beside Lord Prince. Lord Greengrass is a tall, well-built blonde man with a well-chiseled face. He towers over Lord Prince by almost a whole head. Thank you for considering my family, my lord. I'm not currently farming enough wolfsbane for something like this, but I can start filling greenhouses at any time. He answers in a deep voice. Good, then start doing so immediately. We haven't tested if wolfsbane will work, but I'm fairly sure that it will. Tom orders. The second I get home, I'll have my people get straight to work. Thank you for this opportunity, my lord. Lord Greengrass bows sincerely. You're welcome. Tom nods in his direction. Now it's getting late. We'll talk more about this through the marks. Any other sentient creatures need to be addressed at a later date as well, but this is a good start. I expect every one of you to be working hard to make our world stronger and better from now on. Tom says as he looks down over the crowd. Now go home and get some rest. You're all going to be very busy from now on. Chapter 127 Platform Ruckus. After the meeting with his followers, Tom spent the rest of his days before school relaxing with Druella. He slept at the Rosiers for that entire time, but he and Druella haven't done anything intimate yet. She said she isn't ready for that yet, which is all right with Tom. He's pretty sure she's just worried about the pain of her first time while wanting it to be special. That's okay though. Tom can just continue to keep the company of his left or right hand. He said he would take things slow with her, and he meant it. Although that didn't mean he couldn't sleep in the same bed as her. They slept alongside one another for the last few nights before school starts. Lord Rosier was not happy about that, but he couldn't really say anything. Tom is his lord after all. If Tom wanted to, which he does not, he could fuck Lady Rosier right in front of him. Of course, he won't, but he could without any repercussions. Throughout these few days of peace, Tom has been getting communications from his followers about the last meeting. Everyone was doing their best to turn over a new leaf and contribute to the cause, or at least pretend to turn over a new leaf to gain his favor. These two-faced people were easily spotted thanks to the liar function in the mark. Tom won't be punishing them or anything, but they won't be holding any high-level positions, ever. They will forever spend their lives as grunts in his organization. When the few days of vacation ended, Tom and Druella returned once again to King's Cross. As they made their way through the pillar, they were met with an extremely packed platform. Everyone was waiting with bated breath for Tom Riddle's arrival. Parents and students were all surrounding the entrance, waiting to catch a glimpse of the one that slew the Dark Lord. As Tom passed through the entrance with Druella on his arm, the crowd swarmed them. Everyone was thanking him and asking for an autograph or to shake his hand. Reporters were asking question after question to get anything that could fill their next front-page article. Photographers were snapping picture after picture to get the best one they could. Tom felt as though he was being flashbanged the second he walked onto the platform. Although he knew that something like this would happen, Tom still felt a bit overwhelmed by everything around him. Soon, his saviors arrived. Aurors dressed in red coats with wands drawn started pouring into the crowd. They fired off spells into the air to disperse the crowd. Step back. I said step back. A man that looked very similar to Charles walked at the head of the Aurors as they cleared the area. All Hogwarts students are to board the train, and parents are to say their goodbyes and leave. Now. Not wanting to anger the Aurors, everyone reluctantly did as they were told and the crowd dispersed. Hello, Mr. Riddle. It's an honor to meet you. I'm Lord Alphonse Potter. Lord Potter says with a bow. I'm the leader of the Ministry of Magic's Auror office. Would you be willing to accompany me back to Whitehall for some questions? Obviously, you aren't in any trouble. We just have some questions about your bout with Grindelwald. Are you Charles' father? Tom asks with a raised eyebrow. Huh? So my son wasn't lying? He really is friends with you. Lord Potter realizes. Yes, we met in his first year. He wasn't one of those lions that called me a snake and cursed my existence, so we hit it off fairly well. Tom explains. Oh, really? That's nice. I seem to owe my son an apology now. Lord Potter laughs and goes back into work mode. So, are you willing to come and answer some questions? I mean, yeah. Although, I have to be at school for the welcoming feast. Tom agrees. Once we're finished, you can flew to the school from the ministry. You'll probably make it there before the train arrives. Lord Potter offers. All right, that sounds good. Tom says and turns to Druella. Want to ride the train or tag along with me? I'll come with you. The train ride will be dreadfully boring without you. She says and grabs his arm. Sure, you don't mind, do you? Tom turns and asks Lord Potter. No, I don't mind. She was there too, so we have some questions for her anyway. He shakes his head. If you're ready to go, please grab on and we'll take you there. As he says this, two Aurors stand beside Tom and Drusilla. They each grab their designated Auror and disappear from the platform. In two separate interrogation rooms, Tom and Drusilla were being questioned about the fight with Gellert Grindelwald. Although they are in interrogation rooms, the atmosphere was anything but that. The Aurors were made to protect the wizarding world from the dark arts and those who practice them. Tom nor Drusilla show any outward signs of practicing dark arts. They also participated in the killing of a very powerful known Dark Lord. If anything, the Aurors are trying to appear in their best light for Tom. They are treating him like an honored guest while going through the normal procedure of questioning someone. They were all told to look their best and treat Tom well, as many of the higher commands want to try recruiting Tom when he graduates. Getting the man that killed Grindelwald to join them would be a huge boon to the Auror office. As the normal questions were coming to an end, Lord Potter asked something that has been bugging him. Do you know where the bodies of Albus Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald are? We searched the area where the fight took place, but couldn't find them anywhere. He asked. Oh yeah. I have them actually. I thought you guys would need them and didn't want the Muggles taking them. My house elf Mimsy could bring them here if you'd like. I told her to place them under stasis, so no rotting or anything has happened. Tom reveals as he forgot he even had them. He's already taken all valuables off of the bodies for himself, so he does not need them anymore. Yes, that would be appreciated. Lord Potter nods. Next time, could you leave the bodies though? We try to keep the area as untouched as possible for our investigations. Yeah, sure. I'll just call you guys next time. I guess that I didn't really think about it. Tom says as he calls for his favorite elf. Mimsy. Pop. Master called. She answers, her well-dressed appearance impressing all Aurors in the room. Can you deliver the corpses of Grindelwald and Dumbledore to Lord Potter here for me? Tom asks as he points to Lord Potter. Mimsy's on it. She says and pops away. You seem to take very good care of your elf, Mr. Riddle. Lord Potter nods in approval. Mimsy represents me. If she looks raggedy, that shows me in a bad light. Tom says simply. If only others would see that as well. He shakes his head at the wizarding world's custom of belittling elves. Pop. Mimsy appeared with two dead bodies in tow. Both Gellert and Albus looked to be in the exact same state as they were upon their deaths. Albus the mummy and Gellert with a sword wound through the chest. This marks the end of part 16 of the story, I'm Voldemort. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe to the video to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.